Altamont Planning Board meeting. It's April 26, 2021 at 7 p.m. My name's Deb Hext. I'm the Planning Board Chair. Due to continuing COVID restrictions, this meeting is being held remotely, and both the audio and visual portions of it are being recorded. At this time, would each member of the Planning Board introduce themselves, maybe starting with you, Barb? But you're on mute.
Hi, I'm Barb Mohlfelder.
Okay.
I'm Steve Caruso.
Dan Heck.
Simon Litton.
Thank you. And also joining us tonight, we have Lance Moore, our building inspector, our planning board secretary, Ginger Hanna, and Tressa, welcome. Tressa Matulowicz is our new village board liaison. So welcome, Tressa.
Thank you.
Okay, without further ado, we have 3 items on the agenda tonight. The first item is the public hearing on the special use permit request from Jeff Thomas for use of a space at 187 Main Street, Altamont, for the operation of a body arts tattoo place. So I'll read the legal notice, which will open the public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the regular planning board meeting will be held on Monday, April 26th at 7 p.m. The meeting will be held remotely as part of the, as part of the Village of COVID-19 response plan. It can be accessed by the public by using the following internet link. Time, April 26, 2021 at 7 p.m. Zoom meeting link, meeting ID 810-1701-2495. Copies of the planning board agenda and related materials are available on the village website. Okay, with that, that opens the public hearing on the body arts / tattoo studio. Does any member of the public have any questions? I can't see if you're raising your hand, so maybe everybody can help me here. Not seeing anything. Anyone on the phone have any questions?
Deb, this is Don Cropsey.
Hi, Don.
I'm here representing Jeff Thomas on this application.
Okay.
And any questions that might come up.
Is Michael on?
He should be, I believe he is.
Okay. Okay, since I don't see any hands or anything, does anybody on the board have any questions for the applicant or for Don?
I do. Am I muted? No. Couple of things. It was mentioned, you know, the 3 artists plus possibly walk-ins with COVID is over. What is the status now, though? Because I know hair salons are open. I don't know about massage therapy or masseuses. Does anybody know? I mean, would he be allowed to have walk-ins now?
His intention is not to have walk-ins right now for a couple reasons. One is because of COVID, and in his narrative, he described how people will contact him. I will have a conference with those individuals. If they come to an agreement for some of his work, he'll have a schedule and those individuals on an appointment basis. At some future, when COVID is over, he will have walk-in people, but in order to do that, he would have to go to the Department of Health to modify his permit.
Okay. Okay, doke. And then this is a crazy question, but what is Divine Wine that was on the back wall? There was a sign. It says Divine Wine, and it was on the back wall.
I don't know. Let me look.
I thought maybe he's serving cocktails or a little wine when you go to, you know.
It used to be the karate place, so I can't imagine that. Was that in today's documentation, Barb, that you saw that?
Yeah, it was on, let's see, on one of the sheets, I think. And I thought, oh, this is interesting. Okay, I'm sorry, I should have marked where it's,
All right.
where is it? It's in the back room, and it's across from the restroom, and it was written on a wall. I'm sorry.
I'm not, Mike has just gotten in, so he that question.
Oh, I see what it is. You know what it is? I think it's the paint color.
Oh, I think you're right. It is the paint color.
Oh, I was hoping it wasn't. Yeah,
Boy, Barb, we know where your head's at.
I know. Be right over.
What's in that?
Family,
We have
guys.
to take a look. Well, it's going to be great, I think. So, yeah, I have no further questions. Those were mine too. So I'm good.
Does anybody, I'm going to give the public another chance here, have any questions for Michael or for Don? No? Okay, with that, could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I make that motion.
Barb,
I'll second it.
Dan, thank you. Roll call, please.
And roll call, Steve, Board Member Caruso,
In favor?
Board Member Hit,
In favor.
Board Member Mulfelder,
In favor?
Board Member Litton,
In favor.
and Chairperson Haxt.
In favor. Now, at this point, we would normally make a motion to approve the application, but the Albany County Planning Board deferred the ruling on this till their next meeting, which is May 20th, I believe. However, we have the option to hold a special meeting on May 10th, which would be 30 days of a non-response from Albany County. So it wouldn't hold Michael up as long as, till the next meeting. So if everybody on the board is agreed to holding a special meeting on May 10th specifically to address Michael's application, we can do that. Michael, does that work for you? I know it's kind of out of our hands. I don't know when they got it. They said they didn't get it until the 9th and their cutoff was the 5th, but they have 30 days from the day that they say they received the referral. So that would bring us to the 9th, which is a Sunday. So that's why I'm saying the Monday would be the 10th.
I'm not sure I'm going to be here. I'm heading
Okay.
to Massachusetts on Friday. Probably won't even know until Sunday.
Okay, that's
Um,
fine. We would still.
And I'll
have-
let you know,
Okay,
if I'm gonna stay over until Tuesday or not.
okay, all right, that's fair. We'd still have a quorum.
Good.
I'm just trying to work something out for Michael here,
Right.
So.
I
if
think
that's
Michael
okay-
spoke, but he's muted.
Oh, yeah, okay. Did you speak, Michael? There you go.
I understand the position you're in and completely will work with you. I appreciate all your efforts and yeah, I completely understand.
All right, then could I have a motion from the board to hold a special meeting on May 10th at 7 PM to review and perhaps approve the special use permit for the tattoo parlor located at 187 Main Street?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Okay. Board Member Caruso,
In favor?
Board Member Hit,
In favor.
Board Member Mulfelder,
In favor?
Board Member Litton,
In favor.
Chairperson Haxt.
In favor. And
Okay.
thank you, Michael, for, the documentation and everything that you provided is right spot on. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you working with us as well.
Guys.
Okay.
Deb,
um,
so the meeting is going to be for decision only, the
Yes.
public, closed.
The public hearing has been closed. The meeting will be for decision only on the special use permit.
Sounds great.
Okay. Okay, the next topic is the pre-concept meeting to review an application for a major subdivision request by VAMR Development, Ken Romanski on Bozenkill Road. This is not a public hearing, so the public normally cannot have any input. However, if somebody has any specific questions for the applicant, I would rather get them out there now than come before us in a month or two and have questions that could have possibly been answered tonight. So I will allow any questions for the applicant. Both by the board, obviously, or any from the public, no? Okay, well, if nobody has any questions, who is on for VMR? Is that
I have-
Luigi?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
What's that?
Yes, perfect. This is Luigi Palesci with ABD Engineers.
Hi, Luigi.
How are you?
Good, thank you. I know you've come before us in the past. I believe the last time was 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I would say it's, going to be close to 2 years now, July 22nd, 2019, as my records show.
Okay. Can you, for those of us who weren't on the board or those of us who weren't in the meetings, could you just kind of give us a synopsis of what you're planning?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically back on July 22nd, 2019, this major subdivision was before the board. It was approved. A negative seeker declaration was also granted. There were some conditions that were put on the subdivision, and unfortunately, due to the conditions, the filing of the subdivision never got filed with the Albany County Clerk's Office, and subdivision approval has now expired. So we're here before the board again to get another approval. We have not changed anything as part of our proposal. And our proposal, as I mentioned, is a 4-lot major subdivision. You have 4 lots. 3 of those lots are fronting right on Bozenkill Road, and the 4th lot is to remain. The 3 new lots, as developed, would total 1.42 acres, and the remaining 22.5 or minus to the north will remain undeveloped. The 3 lots that are fronting on Bozenkill Road range from, 0.46, they're at about a half an acre each. All of 3 of those lots will be served by public water and sanitary sewer services. And our proposal is to also extend sidewalks as required by code. And due to the sidewalks is one of the reasons of the conditions that never got installed or agreed to moving forward, and hence lapse of the approval here, and we weren't able to file the subdivision.
I thought
So
the last time, I remember we had agreed on an escrow for sidewalks. I think
it
there
was
was,
either or, right?
right, because.
And what Ansky was hoping to do was find a home buyer for one of the lots so that he could get that lot under contract and move forward with the agreement.
Okay,
And, since this time as well, I'd like to say Mr. Romanski has worked now with several builders, and he's ready to move forward and make this agreement happen so that we can file the subdivision plan as soon as possible. As soon as we get our approvals and signatures, we will file it, and it'll be a filed subdivision map and moving forward with the project.
but this is just a concept meeting, so we won't be doing too much tonight. The only other question I have, again, from the last time is, I know you had applied for a 4-lot subdivision, but we only gave approval for a 3-lot subdivision. We did not give approval for that 4th lot.
Well, it is a 4-lot subdivision. The 4th lot is just remaining as undeveloped land right now.
But we
We're
only
not,
gave, we only gave
Mhm.
approval for 3 lots. That 4th lot, we left off the whole approval process, only because it opens up a question as to, could you build on that 4th lot without coming back before the board? So, and Steve, you were on the board with me at the time.
Yeah, Deb, it seemed to me that we did it that way to try to make sure they weren't allowed to develop that 4th lot without
Exactly.
having them come back to us.
Right,
And
exactly.
I think that's why we did it the way we wrote it up. I'd like to get a
and
copy.
we understand that, if the 4th lot would be further developed, we would certainly have to come before this board. But I guess either way, it's 3 new residential homes being built fronting on Bozenkill, but then you have to do something with that 4th lot, which is a lot. But we, in order to develop that 4th lot, yes, we would need to come before the board.
Mhm.
Right? Like, am I understanding it correctly? Like, Mr. Romansky, if this gets approved, would be able to build 3 single-family homes right now, on fronting on, and then that 4th lot, we'd have to come before the board. Is that right? Like,
I believe that's correct.
so that's, it's a 4-lot subdivision because ultimately you have 1 lot today, and after, if it gets reapproved, it becomes 4 lots, but we're looking to build the 3 single-family residential homes that are fronting on Bozenkill as shown on the plan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that and we're going to have to pull the conditions from the last meetings to verify it, but I am pretty sure that we definitely said we'll approve the 3 lots only and not consider that 4th lot. Because another concern was, well, you'll store your equipment there, or I remember there's a lot of concerns over that 4th lot being approved and, left empty. So, I think that that's something that we as a board would have to discuss a little further down the line once we pull the conditions from the prior approvals. Lance, were you with us then? I don't remember. You're on mute. You're still on mute. Darn that.
I don't think so, Deb. I don't think he was part of it.
No?
I don't think so. I think it was whatever, I forget his name, but one before
Glenn?
Lance.
Was it
Glenn.
Glenn?
Maybe he was.
What?
Yeah, Lance was part of it. I remember
Okay.
working with him
Okay.
a couple of years ago on this.
Yeah, Lance, you're on mute. You're still on mute and I can't read lips. There you go. Oh, no. There you go. Okay. Yeah, now I got you.
Yes, Deb, those were the conditions. You're absolutely correct. I was
Okay.
there. I can dig up the minutes, but that was the agreement.
Okay. So again, we can explore this further on down the line, but it's just one of the conditions that I remember from last time that I wanted you to be aware of going forward, that, if we give approval and, that's down the line, it will be for the 3-lot subdivision, not for that 4th lot.
Okay, and if we proceed with the 4th lot, we would just have to make application to the board, correct?
Right.
Yeah, okay,
Right.
all right. I think we're on the same page then.
Okay, all right, good, thank you. So has the board had a chance to review the plans? And, I know there's a lot of wetlands back there. And I also know that the last time the Army Corps of Engineers delineated the wetlands was 2004. I think that's a little ancient, and just have a question whether or not that has been done more recently than 2004.
No, we have not updated the wetlands. We're not proposing to disturb any wetlands. We are keeping far away from the wetlands with the proposal of the homes.
The wetlands as delineated in 2004, you don't, what's to say that those wetlands haven't expanded?
Well, I've walked the property. We've actually surveyed the wetland boundary and set up clearing limits. And walking the property, verifies where we staked out the limits. The wetlands have not encroached those limits.
I drove by and I noticed that it was quite wet along the edge of the road, the property. And that could just be from the rains, but I was wondering if anybody had walked it or gone in and to see again how wet it actually is.
Right, so the wetness along the roadway is the drainage ditch. So the water that runs off the Bozenkill Road. And as part of the plan, you actually see the drainage, that proposed drainage that is needed to do to take care of the runoff from the road along the front.
Okay.
All of the division plans, details, grading and drainage
Mhm.
have all been reviewed and approved by the town designated engineer, which is Barton and LaJudas. And we had received final sign off from them prior to the subdivision approvals back in 2019.
Good.
So all of the, like I was saying, the grading, drainage, and the plan details
Mhm.
are exactly the same as what was previously approved back in 2019. So
Okay, thank
so that'll
you.
certainly help along the front of Bozenkill Road.
Okay.
That doesn't mean though that the same steps won't have to be taken as far as, getting permission from the County Department of Public Works for the curb cuts, getting, sending the plans to our DPW for sewer and water. This is just really, it'll be like you're starting this whole thing all over again. If we don't do it that way, something's going to get missed along the way.
Yeah, that's understandable. But we have all of that documentation in our files where things were reviewed before. And again, if we're not changing anything, nothing has changed. We would expect the same results, I guess. But I certainly understand we have to go through those motions again.
I've got a question here. The maps that you have Army Corps wetland, a big finger into one of the properties from the Army Corps. I tried to find the shape file for that, and I was unable to find the Army Corps shape files that would be used to make that map. Presumably you've got those?
Yeah, that's because they were delineated. Those shape map files, you don't always find them on the Army Corps websites. When you go on the Army Corps websites, it shows you the general areas of federal wetlands, but it's up to the owner and the engineer to hire a wetland biologist to do a wetland delineation, and then that biologist goes out there, flags those wetlands, and delineates them, and that's what we survey and map out on our plans.
Oh, so
And then
that,
we do everything we can to avoid impact to those wetlands, like we have with these 3 lots. So the houses are going to be positioned up front along the front setback line along Bozenkill Road, leaving plenty of backyard for the homes and still having a separation distance to the federal wetlands. And as we went through before, the recommendations from the board and the engineer we actually are proposing signage around those wetland areas for deed restrictions. There's signage that was requested and asked for as part of a condition, and we've noted it on the subdivision plan. So
Yeah,
any homeowners know where the wetlands are gonna be, and they can't, after this home is sold, they can't then go ahead and disturb them. It'll be part of their deed that they're restricted.
so in that one property, there's that finger labeled on your map, Army Corps wetland, that then divides the property. So there's property beyond that, which would that be, would entry to that be restricted to the buyer of the property?
No, the buyer of the property could in fact walk across wetlands and get to the back, but they wouldn't be able to cut trees or disturb anything within that finger of wetland.
Who would enforce that?
The Corps
It
of
would be-
Engineers, the Corps of Engineers enforces the regulations under section 404. So it's not up to the board or anybody else. It's strictly the enforcement division of the Corps of Engineers.
So if the homeowner decided to dump fill in there and put grass seed in there or something and just make that part of his backyard, the only way to enforce that would be for the Army Corps to know about it and then do something about it. The village would not.
That's the way the regulations are written, and someone would have to turn the property owner into the enforcement division of the Corps of Engineers. That's the way it is all across the country for national wetlands, for federal wetlands.
Wow.
And the nationwide permits actually allow single family owners to fill some wetlands. So what's shown here is far more restrictive than what the 404 regulations call out. I would suggest that given the wetland delineation was done in 2004, that it just be verified by a biologist that it's still accurate. I'm not saying it has to be redelineated, but just have somebody verify what was said before, that it's still the same limit. Typically, when they go beyond a few years, the Corps of Engineers would require that it be redelineated, but I don't think that's really necessary for this purpose.
Yeah,
as
we
long-
can provide
Okay.
that.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. That's what I was looking for. Like I said, I know last time that was a point of contention as well. The other thing is there's a deed, existing 60-foot wide easement for ingress and egress. This was from, I think, 2005. Could we have a copy of that deed sent to Ginger, and then Ginger, you can send it out to Allison? She would like to review it.
Yeah, I can certainly provide that.
Thank you.
So was this not reviewed in 2019? I mean, again, everything is exactly the same. We're not changing anything.
I can't
just-
answer that. It wasn't the same attorney, so it may
Oh,
have
okay.
been, but.
I got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
That's-
things change quickly around here.
I see that.
Other than that, does anybody else on the board have any questions? Well, and what we could do is we could make a motion to classify the subdivision as an unlisted action under seeker. And we would then refer the application to the Albany County Planning Board. And once we get all of the seeker application, everything filled out and it's approved, then we can move forward with the public hearing. But let's see, this is April. So next month would be to review, it wouldn't be a pre-application review. It would be a review of the seeker and the normal steps that we would take for a subdivision. Does that make sense?
Deb, was it said earlier that the seeker was completed before, or was it just started last time around?
Oh, in 2019?
Right, yeah. Was it already completed or?
Yes, it was a negative declaration.
It was a
So-
neg deck.
I mean, I defer to the attorney when she gets back, but I would suggest that maybe you don't need to start over. It could just be a reevaluation to determine that the negative declaration is still valid. Allison could give an opinion on that.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah.
If nothing has changed, then the original seeker determination could be determined to still be valid.
Sorry, I'm just taking a note here for Allison. Yeah, so I guess what's important here is to pull, and Lance, maybe you can help with this, is to pull all of the documentation. And Luigi was good enough to give us the date of the last meeting, July 22nd, 2019. So we could get the minutes from that. That would have any conditions in it. And we would probably have the full file on that as well. We'll hold off listing this action until we get a determination on whether or not it's still good. But
Yeah, Lance,
go ahead.
well, if Lance could also pull the negative declaration too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Got it. I still have the file on my desk.
Okay, good.
Okay,
And I can, what we can do is at least approve the pre-concept plan as it's presented to us tonight. And as long as everything's okay with the seeker, we can, I think we're still going to have to review that again, though, at our next meeting before we schedule the public hearing, because no application is considered complete until that a neg deck is voted on. So we can't do that. We can't schedule the public hearing for next month. That would probably be June.
Is it possible to schedule it for next month and then just remove it from the schedule if need be?
To schedule the public hearing? No, I don't think, I mean, we don't have, this is basically just a pre-concept meeting. You know, we don't have, did you put this, you did put the seeker in here, did you put the?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
There.
Oh, it's in here. Yeah.
Well, we don't have to make that decision tonight. We can, I can ask Allison that. I'm thinking she's gonna say no, but I'll ask her. We can, what we'll do is we'll schedule the next meeting for May, what is it going to be? May 24th. Oh, May 24th, to review the final site plan and hopefully be able to schedule the public hearing. But we can let you know that within the next couple days.
Okay. Yeah, I know I'm asking for a lot tonight, but I thought I heard the previous meeting, a special meeting was going to be held. We wouldn't be able to tag along on that special meeting, right? Like we would
No.
just wait for the May 24th?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just throwing it out there, that's all.
No, you know, that's just specifically to address an issue that
Okay.
with the county planning board. So, all right, so we'll schedule the next meeting for May 24th, and hopefully if Allison's okay with it, and if you get the deed from 2005 about the ingress and egress to her to be able to review.
Okay,
And we'll take it from there. I should be able to let you know within the next day or two.
all right, excellent. And then what was Allison's last name?
Phillips.
Okay.
And if you just, you have Ginger, does he have your email and everything?
I do.
Okay, all right. So if you just send
Send it.
everything through Ginger, that is official, and she'll get it out to us and to our attorney.
Okay. Yeah, and if anybody else, Ginger or Allison or you or any of the board members have any other questions, you know, feel free to reach out to me anytime, email, phone, so.
Okay, all right, good. Thank you.
All right, and yes, this information over there, and then I will hope to see you on May 24th.
Okay.
Is there anything
sounds like
else?
a plan. I think so.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to Nadia. All right, so Nadia, obviously we have all of your information that you sent in. And you're looking to amend your special use permit for a sit-down restaurant at 187 Main Street to expand the restaurant into an additional outdoor space and allow for music and entertainment. Did everybody have a chance to review Nadia's application and her little narrative?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? I kind of hope you do.
Um,
I have a question about the noise. You're saying you're gonna be consistent with the town of Guilderland decibel levels. And I'm just wondering, given that the deck is immediately adjacent to the property line, a conversation could exceed the noise levels, decibel levels. So it seems like it's almost being overly restricted. I'm not against outdoor entertainment and music, but if you set a standard you can't comply with, that it kind of self-defeating. It's because a conversation alone at the property line would be the receptor for a noise reading. And people talking, a large group of people talking could actually exceed the noise levels that are stated in the town ordinance. You wouldn't even have to have music and you could still exceed it. So why would you want to set a standard that you may not comply with?
Well, I also understand that there's been in the past other live entertainment in Altamont. So I was trying to compare myself to that noise level, that I don't plan to exceed anything that's going to be disrespectful to the village and the surrounding neighbors.
I'm just wondering if there's a better way to word it so that you don't cause a violation just with people talking, just because of the proximity of the deck to the property line. That's all.
there are apartments across the street. And I think above the home front.
Mhm.
And I was thinking about that too. I mean, I'm all for music, but then I started thinking about clapping and cheering and
Well, and I think that's why Nadia, is trying to be, in compliance with what Guilderland says is a noise level that's inconsistent with the environment. Sorry, it's one of those spam calls. So, I get what Dan's saying, but I think that if there was any complaints, I don't know that it would be, about conversations. I think it would be, your amplified music or any band that you have there. And that, you know, that's some questions that I think that we need to have answered, you know, like we discussed this before, Nadia, like where are you planning on setting up? Like if we look at your site plan for the deck and for the patio, where are you thinking of setting the music up? Will the amplifiers be facing the street or will they be facing the enclosed area of the new addition?
They'd be closer to the back of the enclosed addition. So would the music go out onto the patio deck? Of course it would, but it would be louder inside the restaurant as opposed to being outside.
So if there's amplifiers, they'd be facing the street.
Right.
Okay. So, you know, I guess, how do you make the amplifiers not be too loud as to not disturb the surroundings? You know, how do you plan on doing that?
I hadn't really thought about having amplifiers. I just thought of having, I haven't even considered live bands as of yet. I was thinking like a guitarist, or I was thinking like, you know, if I can fit a piano in there, like a pianist or a violinist, or the belly dancer is going to come in and we can control her level of sound. So I don't think that I'd have amplifiers in there.
One of your write-ups says live bands.
Yep.
You know, so, and amplified music. I know Jeff mentioned the amplified music as well. So, you know, what we're looking to see is if you're going to have a live band, if you're going to have amplified music, and you're agreeing to stick to the town of Guilderland's noise ordinance, what we want to see, you know, back from you is how you're going to do that, and where, you know, on the site plan, where you plan on having the speakers, where you plan on having the band set up. Now, I get if you're just going to have a violinist, they might just be going table to table, which is no big deal. It's just, you know, just not, and you've agreed that you would schedule the music, that it wouldn't interfere with concerts in the park or any other coordinated event within the village. Again, you know, how are you going to do that? So, you know, maybe what we could do, Ginger, is once you listen back to the recording on this, try to pull out the points for Nadia that we need clarification on. That way that'll give her a bulleted list so she knows what she's dealing with and what she needs to answer when she comes back before us next time. You know, so sound, how are you going to control the sound? What are your hours? I think there's some disagreement.
Hours I did list. See,
on
it's
the
hard
narrative.
for me to say anything about, say that I do have a live band. It's hard for me to visualize it right now where they would go. I know that they would not be out on the open deck, but if you were to ask me now with my current location, with the square footage that I have, I would put a live band all the way to the very end inside of the restaurant. So even if I were to have a live band later, they would be at the very end inside indoor part of the restaurant. So I understand the noise level and how to control it. That's something I'd have to speak to the band about and see how they can control that. So it's.
So you're not planning on having the live bands or music outside on the deck or patio?
I wasn't planning on that because I don't know how the deck is going to be arranged, and the inside, I know how I'm designing the interior so that I have enough space in the back to have the live band set up. They take a lot of space.
Yeah, they do.
So I know we're gonna have tables out on the deck with, you know, fire pit tables. I don't know where a band would set up there. And again, like I said, I don't know how the setup is going to be for me to decide later where they would go. Oh, no.
I went out on on Main Street this morning with a sound meter. And light traffic this morning and early afternoon was just under 70 decibels. And there were frequent exceedances, like when a pickup truck went by or hitting above 75 dBs. So that's a fairly tight restriction.
You know, one thing I'd like to say is Jeff Thomas. Let me just mute. Can you mute that then? We've had outdoor music playing there since the inception of the building on the canopy. And we really haven't had any complaints at all. And if anything, I've had the community trust, the Altamont Community Act during Christmas time ask me to turn it up at one point. A player, if she were to have a guitar player on the deck, it would be amplified. Most musicians are amplified now. There would be a tripod speaker and it would be faced back to the building, not out to the street. That's the way I would envision it, the way we built it and designed it. So I think we can really, but you know, my thing is let's come on out. We'll do a trial run and see if you like it. We'll have Jimmy Rusacker from the area play. And it would be a limited occasion. And we would control the noise, and I think everyone would be pretty happy with the result. We've had a lot of requests for live entertainment, music option with dinner, and I think it's going to hugely benefit the Altamont.
Well, you know, Jeff,
Jeff.
I know you're saying that you've had, you know, music on your outdoor porch there. The piped in music from the speakers is a lot different than a live band with an amplifier.
Well, I don't know about, we're not talking, she's talking about a band on the inside. I don't know if you have jurisdiction on the inside of the property to tell her to do that other than noise, but I thought we were talking about the deck area. And if she were to have entertainment on the deck area, it's a small deck. It's about 690 square feet. And what she could do is have a guitar player, probably acoustic guitar player. He would have a tripod. They play all the time. They don't come in with huge amplifiers. They have a tripod, and the speaker would be faced back to the building to limit the noise. But I honestly envision people coming up and possibly enjoying it from standing on the grass. I mean, this is the way this thing's going to work out. I think you're going to be very happy. And if we were to get any complaints, as a landlord, we would not want to, do anything to hurt our relationship with the village, and nor would Nadia. She's in business to make money and to attract people to come there. So we're going to work real closely with everyone to make it a win-win for everyone, and make it a nice entertainment. And it's decibel levels. We've had the deck music, our speakers, the same type of speakers that are used inside of a tripod microphone or a tripod speaker system. It could be similar noise volume. We turned it on when you were there, Deb. So
yeah.
Anyways, I just want you to feel good about the fact that we want to work with the village. We don't want to be loud. We don't want to be crazy, none of that. But she may want to have a guitar player out there with a microphone, small microphone, acoustic guitar player, and have some live entertainment. I'd love to go there have a bite and a drink on the deck myself.
If I could add to my comment before, I'm in favor of the entertainment. I think the way it's written in this special use permit conditions, it's restricting you to not be able to do what you're saying. And I think if the wording is modified to address what you just said,
I
then
agree.
it would be better than setting us. If you set a standard for a decibel level and then don't meet it, you won't have it entertainment. Where if you set a standard that is just reasonable, then it's, as Simon said, the traffic alone could exceed the town noise ordinance.
Yeah, I agree. That was a great point that you brought up, and that sentence should probably be stricken from it, and say reasonable levels.
Something like that, because, you know, a couple of years from now, if there's others on the board, somebody could go out and be a pain and take a noise reading right on that property line and, you know, say no more music, because it's that close to the property line. And the Guilderland Town Ordinance says at the edge of property.
That's a great point.
So you just
The
gotta
thing
find a
is-
better way to word this to address what you were saying.
The thing is, though, if someone wants to complain because, and I'm just throwing this out there, I'm not saying this is gonna happen. It's 11 o'clock at night and the band is still playing and the people above the spinning room or in those apartments in the back there are saying, we can't sleep, and they call the town of Guilderland. The town of Guilderland is gonna say, our noise ordinance says you have to stop at X amount of time. So it
Yeah.
doesn't.
But you could word this with time and make it performance-based.
Yeah, we have to have a time restriction. We wouldn't want to,
Right.
I don't think that Nadia planned on doing any deck entertainment past 10 o'clock. I think we spoke at that, the original meeting. But there would be a time limit, of course, and it would have to be reasonable.
Okay, so I noted that it said that music will remain after 9 PM. 10 o'clock, I think, would be reasonable, maybe on a Saturday night, Friday night, but during the weekday evenings, probably not.
Yeah.
I think she says that in her narrative. I see 12 to 9 on the weekdays, if she were to have entertainment on the deck. And I think it says 12 to 10 as a time frame for the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
12 to 10.
If
I
you
got
wanted
thrown off,
to,
guys. Sorry, I'm back. I got thrown off for some reason.
No.
Okay,
I did put the timings in there.
okay, Friday, Saturday until 10.
if you wanted to put decibel levels and then maybe reference that, it would be at the adjacent receptors, not at the property line.
I'll make changes to
You know,
that.
there's just other ways to word this to accommodate what you want to do. And-
Yeah.
I
and,
agree.
you know,
Yeah, we'll change that. I agree. We'll take that out and put reasonable.
Yeah, there, you know, I think Jeff and Nadia, that's, you know, maybe that's what you have to do is rewrite this, reword this, tell us how you're going to do it, because, you know, the narrative says one time, the application says other times. So maybe that's what we need to have you do is rewrite the narrative, fill out the application again, and tell us how you're going to do it, the exact times that you're going to have, and what you're planning on having, that any, you know, loud or live band entertainment, you know, would not exceed, you know, 9 PM or 10 PM, whatever it might be. Because, you know, we do have, it is a residential area. It's, you know, it's a mixed use area.
It's a central business district for Altamont.
It's a mixed use area. There are residents there.
Yeah.
And that's part of our job, is to make sure that what we're approving is going to fit.
No,
in with
I
the-
agree. I agree.
I have
So-
concerns, again, about the music. I'm for the music, but I'm wondering, maybe not going so late on a Sunday. That's kind of a quiet time.
Sunday
Yeah.
evening.
Do Friday and Saturday.
Usually it's only gonna be a weekend thing, Friday and Saturday.
Oh, okay, because it says Sunday here, so.
Yeah, don't limit yourself, Nadia. You know, you might want to say some Sundays or something like that, you know, but would not exceed 9 PM or, you know, however you want to word it. It's just, we're just trying to let you do this because, you know, I too, I think it's a great thing. But we need to also make sure that what's happening isn't going to affect your neighbors, whether
Okay,
resident.
I'll reword it.
And maybe on a Sunday until 9 instead of the 10.
I don't know, 9 o'clock on a Sunday, I'm in bed, but.
I know, that's what I'm saying. We're a bunch of, well, some of
Well,
us.
those are just the hours of what I was going to extend for my opening hours. Because right now Sunday is 12 to 8. So what I was trying to say is that we'd be open 12 to 9 on a Sunday in
Oh,
the summertime. That has nothing to do with the entertainment.
See where the confusion is though? You know, I
Yeah.
think this is a good meeting because we're hashing out the differences and, you know, it's helping you
Yeah,
understand, you know, what we're trying to ask. We just want you to say times, days, you know, the type of music, where on the site plan, the music will be located, if it is a live band, whether it's inside, whether it's outside. Like Jeff said, if it's a guitar player, they're just going to have one of those tripods. It'll be facing the building. It won't be facing the road, that type of thing.
I'll make it very clear.
But, you know, like I said, Ginger, you know, she'll be taking notes and hopefully we can get at least some bullet points to you. And that's just regarding the music. The, you know, the other thing that you have here is the cigar bar and hookah bar.
Yep.
So, you know, I'm going to leave this open to questions from the board.
I've got a question on that, Deb.
Okay.
Nadia, can you tell me on the, looking at the plans where you would like to have this outdoors? I'm assuming you're gonna have the cigar and hookah area on the deck, is that
On
correct?
the deck.
Okay, looking at this, I don't see any place where you actually envision where you would like it to be. Is it gonna be in the front of the
It's
deck?
gonna be in the front of the deck. Yep,
Okay, so it'll be up near. where
closer to the parking lot.
Okay. All right.
I have an issue with that. Smoke drifts. I was wondering, is there a state law in terms of how far away? I know, you know, the malls, different places, it has to be X amount of feet away. To be honest, I am not for the cigar area. I would put it like back of the building down below. Yeah, seriously, that's how I feel. I am not a fan. I just think the smoke drifts, and I think people out on the deck that are enjoying the music or dinner or whatever, you know, would probably not be happy campers to have the cigar and the hookah.
Well, I
drifting
know
around.
that the state, the New York State Smoking Law 1399Q G says outdoor dining areas of food service establishments with no roof or other ceiling enclosure provided, however, that smoking and vaping, hookah, whatever, may be permitted in a contiguous area designated for smoking and vaping, as long as such area A constitutes no more than 25% of the outdoor seating capacity of such food service establishment, and B is at least 3 feet away from the outdoor area of such food service establishments not designated for smoking and vaping, and C clearly designated with written signage as a smoking or vaping area. So, you know, I guess that's the other thing, Nadia, is that, you know, we would like something from maybe you or your attorney that says how you are going to comply with the smoking regulations as written by the New York State Department of Health. One concern I had, and we would have to measure this, is smoking shall not be permitted. No person shall smoke within 100 feet of the entrances or exits or outdoor areas of any public association library. So I think you're more than 100 feet there, but I don't know that for sure. Especially considering where you're saying, so we really just have the tracks in between, because you really are right on the property line there. So, you know, there's more to consider here, and then the music part of it. We're talking about, you know, the closeness to a village park, certainly to the train station, the library. There's a lot of children's events there. So, you know, maybe you can get us some legalese as to how you are going to do this and meet the New York State Department of Health smoking regulations.
Okay, I can do that.
I know there's a few, I think there's somebody from the library on here. And again, you know, I have the option to allow the public to ask questions. And if anybody from the public has questions for Nadia or for Jeff, feel free to go ahead and ask. Like I said, I try to make it as easy as possible on the applicant so they don't have to keep coming back. So if we can get some questions answered now, I think it's better for everybody. Anybody? No?
What you mentioned, she would have to, or the restaurant would have to comply with the New York State smoking laws.
Correct. And, you know, there's a public health 1399O and 1399Q, I think are the most pertinent ones from what I can find. But, you know, like I said, you would have to have your attorney just depict exactly based on law how you are going to comply with the regulations. Because I know I read, I couldn't find it today, but I know I read somewhere that children under 12, you can't be in that cigar bar smoking area. So, you know, that's another consideration. Are you planning on having this all the time, or is this just going to be certain nights, or?
It might just be on the weekends. I think I'll have to sit down and specify it with my attorney
Okay.
and then rewrite it in my application.
Because, you know, if you were to, our use schedule doesn't allow for a quote unquote cigar bar. So if you were to want to go strictly for that, then, you know, that opens up a whole other can of worms. Because then you're changing the use from the sit down restaurant to something that right now isn't allowed as a use in our code. Again, does anybody have any questions for Nadia? I mean, you know, I'd hate to have her have a question that could be answered by someone else right now. Tressa, do you have anything from the village board standpoint?
I don't. I'm just listening at this point and taking notes here.
Okay. Danny, do you have anything? Danny's our zoning board chair. I always give him a chance to talk at these meetings.
No, it's just, you know, they would have to make sure that the Indoor Clean Air Act, like you mentioned, 1399, and I believe there's another section in there regarding restaurants that to comply with that. So look into it, make sure that there's nothing updated.
I know there is, I couldn't find it today, but I know there's another section that deals with ventilation, and Nadia, we discussed that, you know, how you would ventilate the, you know, the premises. And I know there's something about children under 12, but I don't know. I was reading so much legalese today, my eyes were crossed.
And their kids may be, you know, out on the deck eating dinner. You know, I would bring my grandchildren, my kids. Yeah.
We could limit the smoking to days where we have like an event happening, or, you know, a belly dancer there or something. It doesn't have to be every day.
Don't, you know, again, don't limit yourself. Make sure, you know, think about this. Don't just throw it out there.
I'm going to call my attorney tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Deb, I have a question.
okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Judy. Go ahead.
Okay. Of course, this is from a reformed smoker. I have to tell you the truth, but it seems to me like I don't know anybody really that smokes, to be honest, anymore. And so many of us are adamantly against it health-wise, that I don't understand the I'm wondering if Nadia could explain the draw for this. Maybe there's a demand for this more than I understand, but as Barb mentioned, the drifting of the smoke, I could smell smoke. Oh my God, down on the street from my house. It's that when you've quit, you really can smell it a lot. I don't know. That's just a comment.
I smoked for 18 years, so I know what you mean.
Okay.
But cigar smoke is a big thing. It's still around. People want to come
It
hang
is.
out. You know, I get girls coming in, having girls' night. They want to come have mango margaritas. I have spoken to many guys that want to come have a guys' night and just come sit down on the deck and smoke a nice cigar. So although we are all opposed to it, I myself, my husband and I don't smoke. We have 3 kids, but people
Then
do
why would
want-
you?
people have asked for it.
Health-wise, I just think it's a bad idea. That's just me. Thank you.
Yeah, and we can't, not you, Judy, we as the board, we have our own opinions, but we have to go by what our code allows and what the New York State
Right.
regulations allow. We
I
can't let our
understand.
personal feelings come, in between this. We have to be fair to the applicant. We have to go by our code. We have to
Yeah.
do what New York State tells us.
Understood.
So, but, hearing from the public is an important part of this. And when we set the public hearing, I think we'll have more input on this, both
Okay.
positive.
Hey, Deb. Hey, Deb, I found something about the children at the age of 12 on the Department of Health website, and it specifies playgrounds.
Does it only say playgrounds?
Oh,
It
Okay.
does. It says that smoking and e-cigarette use are prohibited at New York playgrounds between sunrise and sunset when anyone under the age of 12 is present.
Yeah,
So-
no, there's something that specifically talked about a restaurant and maybe it was specific to cigar bars.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
I read the playground also. But I
Okay.
do agree with Barb that smoke does drift. And, having said that, I have kids myself. I'm going to look into that a little bit further.
Great. Thank you.
And one thing that we can decide on tonight is to classify this action under seeker. So this is an unlisted action because it doesn't fall under type 2 and it doesn't fall under type 1, which means that we will have to, before we can set the public hearing, we have to have a neg deck on the seeker. So did you fill out a full seeker, Nadia? I don't think you did.
Let it go. They gotta.
I don't think so.
Okay, so you'll have to fill out, and I know Don and Jeff can help you with this. You'll have to fill out parts 1, 2, and 3 of the seeker. And so with that, can I have a motion to classify this under seeker as an unlisted action and then refer the application to the Albany County Planning Board?
I'll make the motion.
Dan, thank you.
I'll second.
Barb? Roll call, please.
Okay, so Board Member Caruso,
In favor?
Board Member Hit,
In favor.
Board Member Mulfelder,
In favor?
Board Member Litton,
In favor.
Chairperson Hext.
In favor. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Ginger. That being said, does anybody have any other questions for Nadia at this time? Or for Jeff or for Don? I don't know if Don's still on, but. No?
I don't.
I have a quick question.
Nadia, is that you?
Yeah.
Sure.
So Jeff and I had been talking about a scape that he had put out last year in the parking lot. And although I didn't put that in the application, I was hoping to have that because the extension is going to take a while. I have a lot of guests that want to sit outside that request outdoor seating and my space is limited. So Jeff and I had thought about putting that scape out in one of the parking spots. And I wanted permission before we did that. I didn't want to do something that somebody would oppose.
I don't believe that's allowed by code. Lance, I know that they did it last year. If you do that, you're definitely going to have to come, put that on the application. But Lance, can you speak to that as far as the code is concerned?
Can you hear me, Deb?
Yep.
Okay, I don't have the book right in front of you, no. Plus it's on a state highway, so we'd have to get permission there. And one of the major concerns was parking in the front. So if you take away another spot, there's less parking in the front, where I think most of the people would like to park, or paisanos or anything thereof, pick up and travel. So I'll look it up, but I think they're at the max of cars that are allowed in the front. And when Jeff did put that in, we had a long talk about it. And he told me it was going to be temporary at that point, and eventually it was. So
Well, it would be temporary.
Well, this,
it's allowed underneath the canopy. That was
well,
in the-
this would be very temporary also, just until my extension is developed.
Well,
Phil,
I don't
put
think
that
one
on- put that on the new application, put it on the new application, Nadia, and we'll look more into the code.
I one comment on that. The streetscape is basically, it's a non-permanent structure. It was designed, and it only takes up one parking spot, and it would only be there until her addition is complete. It would help her get another table setting outside. The community really liked it. I got a lot of positive feedback. I mean, probably it was well over 100 positive comments. So it's designed to only use up one. It would almost be like somebody setting a picnic table up outside, but it's using a flowered arrangement around one parking spot. And I think Nadia needs it to be able to be successful in business. She's very limited. And we take it down as soon as the addition was open, probably in 3 months.
It's not a
I mean,
matter of,
if we make an application on something like this, by the time the application goes through, it's not going to be needed anymore. So
Well,
that,
we can't-
it's a
as a
very
board-
temporary, it's almost
Yeah,
like an outside
as a-
picnic table.
as a board, we can't just say, yeah, go ahead. We can't do that. We have to see if it's allowed by our code. We have to designate
Okay.
see how many parking spaces you have there now based on what's allowed for the Altamont Corners itself. We can't just say, yeah, go ahead. It's only going to be temporary. Put your table out there. We can't do that. We're bound by our code.
If
You
I,
could have 3,000 people say that, we want a picnic table out there. If our code says you can't, you can't.
so I know that personally, me and my staff, we park our cars out in the front parking lot. If this was something that code would say, we're okay with you doing this, I would take all of our cars to the back parking lot and not allow my staff to use the front one anymore. That's how strongly I feel about having this, because
And I
it's very
totally
needed.
understand. It's just
Okay.
our hands are tied based on our code. We have to look a little bit more on our code and figure out if it's something that we can accommodate. But we can't just give a rubber stamp approval in a meeting to something that we're all unsure whether or not it's an allowed use.
Okay.
I would love to be able to say, yeah, go ahead. It's 3 months. What the heck? Go ahead, put it out there. I can't. I can't do that.
Understood. Do you know if that's something that we would have to wait until the next time we have another meeting, or?
Let's see what we can do. I'm not going to say yes, but I'm not going to say no either. Let's give us tomorrow. Let's look at this a little bit more and see if, I'm just trying to remember what the specifics to the parking. See, this is where John came in handy. Give us till tomorrow. Let me look into it, and we'll let you know tomorrow whether you have to wait, or you can put it up for a month or something.
Okay.
Especially considering COVID is still an issue, we might be able to do something based on that.
That would be amazing. Okay, I'll wait.
Okay. I'm making a note for myself.
Deb, can we go back to? Deb, can we go back?
Hi, Don. Yeah, go ahead.
You've classified the action as an unlisted action, and you said that part 2 will need to be filled out. Part 2 of the assessment form is to be completed by the lead agency, and that would be you guys, right?
You're echoing.
All right, hang on. Let me see if I can fix that.
Can you ask Jeff Thomas to
Is that
mute?
better? No, hang on. Okay. Part 2 is to be done by the lead agent, correct?
Are you saying?
You asked Jeff Thomas to
We
mute.
felt-
Debbie, Jeff needs to close his square there. Mute.
Everybody's echoing, so if you're not talking, can you please go on mute?
Hang on. Okay, how's? Is that better?
Deb, you're on mute.
Okay, are we back?
Deb, you're on mute.
Don, are you in the same room as Jeff? That's why you're echoing.
Yes, but he's left the meeting.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah, he left the meeting on his.
Okay, go ahead then. That's why you were echoing.
Okay, so back to the seeker, you had determined it to be an unlisted action, and then you mentioned that part 2 of the form needs to be filled by us, and I think that you as the lead agency need to fill that part out, and that's where you answer those 11 questions regarding the specific of seeker. Is that correct? I just want to, we're all on the same page.
Sorry. See what? Yes, you're correct. I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay, so what we filled out is part 1, and it gives you some general information regarding the project. And then I guess you guys go through this part 2, is that, or so we can determine what the impact of this, or are we going to read on that?
Or what? I'm sorry. You're breaking
Question
up.
is, are we going to finalize the seeker determination tonight, or are we going to wait on that?
No, we are not going to finalize it tonight. No.
Okay. Okay. That was my only question on this.
Okay. Okay. I know we have a few takeaways. Lance, you've got a few takeaways to look into as far as parking is concerned, right, for Nadia? And whether or not it's allowed use under our code to have a table out in the parking lot.
Hey, Deb,
Who's that?
it's Tressa.
Tressa?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
With COVID and municipalities making concessions for outdoor dining, would that be a factor in this?
Well, that's what I said, you know,
Yeah.
with COVID, we might be able to allow it temporarily.
Okay.
I just have to make sure that the parking situation is okay. You know, like if they have to have 44 spaces and taking one away makes it 43, then our hands could be tied. But, you know, that's why I'm not saying yes and I'm not saying no, but I think we might be able to use the COVID card.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Wouldn't the proposal have to be presented in writing at a minimum, even if it's a email or a letter tomorrow or the next day? Because all you have is a verbal request at the moment.
Yeah, you know what? We probably could do it in email. I know we've done it in the past for temporary use last year during COVID for another person. So we could probably do it again. See, this is, you know, unfortunately, Allison had another meeting tonight. This is another, you know, question I'd have to ask Allison.
Deb, we can put together something in an email and send it off to you and Allison, so that you can have something specific to review.
Okay, yeah, that's good, Don. Yeah.
We could just go to second. If Nadia and her employees all park in the back, that'll free up 4 parking spaces in the front that she's using. And this particular setup for the tables only takes up 1 spot. I'm not sure which spot they're planning on using, but we can make it so.
That's probably, you should try to designate where you would put this, you know, in the email, say what, like, is it just going to be off the steps of a restaurant there?
Yeah, we do that and make sure that it doesn't impact the other tenants in the plaza.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would mention.
All right, we'll
I'm
be off tomorrow so that it can be reviewed by Allison Phillips and you and the.
Okay.
I would mention in the email about having the staff park in the back, because that does free up, you know, more spaces. And so, you know, maybe taking one away would not have a big
Definitely.
impact.
Yeah. Good, Barb. Thank you. So see, seeker, COVID does come in handy sometimes. Okay, if there are no other questions, I think, Nadia, I'll be in touch tomorrow. And, you know, we can kind of hash out what we talked about. If you have any questions, you know, thinking about it tonight, you know my number, I'm available. But other than that, I think as far as this item is concerned, we're good, right? We have nothing else for Nadia or Don, or I think Jeff left, so. Okay, all right, thanks, Nadia. Thank you, Don. We'll be in touch.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is to review the meeting minutes, but we're not going to do that. We're going to put that off till next month. I don't think any of us got a chance to review them. I know they weren't in the packets. So we can do that till, that's no biggie. We can do that next month. Anything else anybody would like to discuss? Any other business the board would like to discuss? Any
One
other
question,
questions?
in regards to the sign permit that was submitted.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Michael. I've got this big note here, sign permit. For the Crossroads tattoo, did everybody get a chance to review the sign permit?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks fine. It's goes
I
along
had-
with.
I have no issues.
Yeah.
It looks like all the rest of the signs, and
Yep.
it's actually a nice design.
Yeah, it looked fine.
Not gonna be any. Are you gonna illuminate that, Michael? in any way?
Externally illuminated, it's up in the soffit, the existing lighting is up there.
So just like the rest of them, okay, all right. There's not gonna be any internal lighting or anything like that, okay.
Not at all.
Look good.
And the side beaches are 22.77, so that's meets our code, which is 25. Yeah, I see absolutely no problem with this sign permit.
At this point, is this something that I can get into production, or do I have to specifically wait until after the meeting?
No, you, well, yeah, you can. I don't see a problem going forward with your application, but you know, I guess that's up to you. If for some reason we approve your application on the 10th and the Albany County Planning Board comes back with some stipulation, you know, I guess that's up to you. I don't see a problem with going ahead with the having it designed and produced. I don't see a problem going forward with your application, but I can't speak for Albany County.
Sure, understood. And I guess my last question, let's say if I was looking to get that exact copy put on the windows, is there any kind of stipulation against that in the future, or?
Exact copy put on, what do you mean?
Like vinyl decals on the window that have the company name, same layout. Small.
Well, you'd have to include that in your, you know,
into
your
what?
application for your, that you would do something in the windows, yes.
Okay, exactly. All right, no problem. Noted. I think that's all the questions I have.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, you know, I have no problem with the sign permit, as long as no one else on the board does. Yeah, we can approve that tonight. Any questions, anyone? Okay, could I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Barb?
Sorry, that was Dan that was making that motion?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so Board Member Crusoe,
In favor?
Board Member Hitt,
In favor.
Board Member Mulfelder,
In favor?
Board Member Litton,
In favor.
Chairperson Hext.
In favor.
Okay,
Thank you,
doke, thank
everybody.
you.
Thanks, Ginger. Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
Good
good
night.
night, everybody.
You too. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Good night.